Hey everyone, and welcome to the first ever Q&A for this channel. I am Agamotto, and I'm going to be answering all of your burning questions that you sent in for me, which I really appreciate all of the support, all of the feedback, all of the really kind words that you guys have said since I uploaded my first YouTube video. It's been kind of overwhelming at times, and just I'm so humbled and thankful and grateful to all of you. So this is kind of a celebration. We just passed 2,000 subscribers, so you guys sent in some questions. I'm going to answer them, so let's get to it. All right, so the first question was asked by a few different people, a few different ways, but why did you start reading Bleach? Well, as people know from my videos, I grew up reading like One Piece, Naruto, Shaman King. I've been a devout follower of One Piece, like religiously. Like I'm a huge One Piece guy for like 2 decades. I started One Piece in like 2005, maybe 2004. And I always knew about Bleach. I knew it existed. I knew it was about some guy with orange hair and a huge sword, and he fought ghosts. Like I sort of knew the general premise. He was like a Grim Reaper type character. Shinigami, but I don't know, I just never got around to it. I just never really paid any attention to it at all. I knew it was there, I just didn't ever give it a shot, which is kind of sad because I wish I had, experienced that earlier, but at the same time, I'm glad you guys are enjoying me experiencing it now. But what really made me like kind of decide to check it out is I'm very big on like supernatural stories. I love things that involve the paranormal and like spirits, and I'm a huge Yu Yu Hakusho fan. Like that's one of my favorite anime of all time, and I had heard that Bleach was like kind of a modern Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day, which maybe contributed to me not wanting to check it out because I was probably like, even subconsciously, like I have Yu Yu Hakusho, what do I need Bleach for? But obviously they are two very different things. And it has been fascinating reading this from the beginning and sharing my thoughts with you guys, because what really happened was I read those first like 20 or so chapters, and I read the June 17th Memories in the Rain part of the story, and I felt so strongly about that. Like I haven't had that much of a profound effect from reading a manga still, probably, than those chapters. Like they hit me so hard, and for obvious reasons if you've seen that video. Yeah, so I read that and I just felt like I had to share that. I had to have some sort of outlet where I could talk about that with people that knew the story and could understand where I was coming from, instead of just ranting about it to my wife, which is what I was doing beforehand. Yeah, so that's how I started reading Bleach. I just kind of eventually decided I should check it out. It was a huge thing back when One Piece and Naruto, and they were the big three, and I had seen two of the three. I might as well complete the Trinity. So yeah, that's how I started reading Bleach. What is your favorite quote from Bleach so far? That is a great question, but it is also one that is really easy for me to answer. I love Ishin, after he talks to Ichigo on the anniversary of Masaki's death, and he's walking away and he says, "Live well, Ichigo, live well, age well, go bald well, and die after me. And if you can, die smiling." Like that's such a good quote. That's such a good scene, and obviously that whole arc, those few chapters, just amazing stuff. And that quote really sums it up. I think that's such an important message and so profound for Ishin to tell his son, especially now knowing a little bit more about his dad. If faced with a random hollow, what would you do? I would run. I would run far away. I would not try to fight it. I love the hollows. I would admire the beauty of its design, but I'd admire that from a long way away. I would get far away. I don't want my soul eaten. I'm good. I'd run. That's my answer. I'm getting far away from that hollow. Which characters so far would you like to have as a friend in real life? Oh man, Maori? I'm kidding. He would experiment on me for sure. Chad. Chad's a great friend. He has been from the beginning. He's a real one. He's got your back always. I'd like to be friends with Chad. How many more episodes do you think you'll make on Bleach? I have no idea, but I will tell you, I will be doing this until I get to the end. That is my goal. I want to read all of Bleach. I want to share that experience with you guys. I have no idea how many episodes that's going to be. Specifically, what we have, like 11 so far. I don't know. I couldn't even hazard a guess. I don't really know. Because how I break down my videos really depends on my feelings and my thoughts on those. It's not very specific as far as arcs or anything like that. So I have no idea. It's impossible to say, but I will be there till the end. So that's my answer. Are you planning on watching any of the Bleach filler / watching any of the movies? By the way, just found your channel earlier today. Really enjoyed the content. Thank you. I'm glad you found the channel, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm so thankful people are actually responding to this and, you know, enjoying. That makes me so happy, actually. As far as the fillers in the movies 100% yes. I will be making videos on the movies as we go. I have a list that I found that has like the anime episodes, like the canon ones, the filler ones, and then like where the movies, like where you should ideally watch the movies. So when I reach those points in the story, that's when I will be covering the individual movies. As far as the fillers, I could, that's completely up to you guys. If that's something you'd like to see, I could always go back. I know there was a huge filler arc after the Soul Society arc, which since I'm covering the manga, I skipped that for now, but I could always go back and watch the filler. If you guys would like to hear my thoughts on those kinds of arcs, let me know. Yeah. What took you so long to start Bleach, bro? Have a nice day. You also have a nice day, and also, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take long, but like I said, it just kind of was just not something I was interested in or ever bothered checking out. There wasn't really a specific reason why. I don't know. I'm just glad I'm checking it out now. But yeah, I'm sorry it took so long. But also, if I had read it sooner, I might not be making these videos and I might not have this YouTube channel. So that's a weird multiverse timeline. But yeah, I'm sorry. But I'm reading it now and it's wonderful. Top 5 favorite Bleach characters. That's tough. I'm going to say Kenpachi is definitely on there. I love me some Kenny. He's probably number 1. I just enjoy every moment of him so far. I think he's great. Urahara is probably in the top 5, which is why I'm very scared that he's going to be some sort of villain, but if he is, I mean, he could be a great villain. He could be a great bad guy, and maybe he'll still be in my top 5. Ichigo is in the top 5. I think he's a great protagonist. I think he's very different than a lot of shonen heroes. He's not a Goku, he's not a Luffy, he's not a Naruto. If anything, I'd say he's like a Yusuke or a Meshi, but a little less rough around the edges, I would say. Ichigo's just kind of deceptively simple of a character. I think he just wants to protect people he cares about, which is something we can all relate to. Yeah, he's great. I love Ichigo, and he's part of the reason I've been so invested in this story, really. And that's very important to have a great main character. I'd say maybe Aizen, but I kind of want to wait to see what he's like as an actual villain, like out in the open, people knowing what he is. I want to see more of that. I think he might not make the top 5 quite yet, but that guy blew my mind, so maybe. Rukia, I think Rukia is a great character, and I think that's the reason the Soul Society arc worked so well, is because we were scared of her dying. I was scared to lose her. She's very interesting on a lot of different levels. She can be funny, she can be really, heartwarming, she can make you feel really sad. She's a good character. I love Rukia. She's great. And then maybe Mayuri. I love Mayuri. I had a whole video talking about how much I actually enjoy how really disturbing and creepy he is. And I think he's got a great design. I think he's terrifying, and I like that. I think he's super creepy, and I want to see more of him and more of his experiments. Yeah, that's probably my top 5. At this moment, I'm going through this story, and that could change any second. Which Zanpakuto would you want out of the ones you've seen? Okay, I don't know its name offhand, but Captain Hitsugaya's. Give me some ice powers. I love me some ice powers, and that one's pretty cool. I also like the design of it. I like the hilt a lot. Yeah, that would be my answer. Top 5 favorite anime. That is a hard one. I'm gonna go top of my head right now, what I'm feeling, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is definitely on there. This is in no specific order, by the way. That's definitely on there. Death Note is great. That's a great anime. Jeez, Attack on Titan was kind of almost a masterpiece, pretty much, so that's probably there. Yu Yu Hakusho, for sure. I think that show is phenomenal. And it's very 90s in the best way possible. It's got vibes. It's got vibes, and I hope it's never remade because it has very specific vibes, like the music, the dated animation, everything just adds to its overall greatness. Also, Cowboy Bebop, that's definitely there. That's a masterpiece. I mean, obviously. So that's probably my top 5. What did I say? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Attack on Titan, Death Note, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, that's probably, at this moment in time, that is my answer. But my answer is constantly changing for things like that. Out of all the captains you've met in the story, who is your favorite? Kenpachi. Also, which one can you most likely take in a fight? None of them, probably. Like, I can fight if I have to, but can I fight on the level of a Captain Soul Reaper? No, probably not. Trying to think, is there any of them that I feel like I could take? No. And even the ones that haven't really shown, you know, their physical capabilities much yet, I'm sure I couldn't take them. Unohana, she seems nice. I wouldn't want to fight her. And even if I could, like, I feel like I wouldn't win. She's probably really badass and just heals people to hide how badass she is. I don't know. I don't think I could beat any of them. Not a single one. I don't think I could beat them. That's my honest answer. I'm sorry. I can't fight them. What is your favorite Bleach, Shikai, and Bankai? Shikai, I would say Zabimaru. I love the look of it. I love the kind of saw blades. I think it fits Renji really well. Bankai, probably Captain Hitsugaya's. I think we've barely seen it. You know, Aizen took him out pretty quick, but just from a visual standpoint, that was the one that made me open the page and go like, whoa! What's your Bleach reading process? Do you read the original first, then the colored, and watch the anime after reading both of those? So I read the original, the black and white. It started that way with, I had like the first 5 oversized 3-in-1 volumes. So I started there, and for budgetary reasons, I've been reading Bleach online in black and white. I used the colored ones mainly because I think it's more appealing on a visual standpoint to the viewers. Also, I just think some of them are absolutely gorgeous. The black and white's gorgeous too, but man, some color sometimes really makes things pop. As for the anime, I watch the anime when I work out. I'll watch the episodes that cover the things that I've been reading in the manga. And I'm usually a little bit behind in the anime compared to where I am in the manga. But yeah, I watch those when I work out. So I have seen the anime episodes covering the manga stuff. I haven't watched filler arcs or anything like that. I have seen obviously some filler things that are in the anime that weren't in the manga, but like are part of the manga storyline. Like, for example, the Memories in the Rain episodes had that random Soul Reaper guy that was just anime only. But yes, I don't watch the filler episodes of the anime, but I have watched the anime episodes that cover the manga chapters I've read, if that clears things up. I might have been terrible at explaining that, but that's my answer. Have you seen the other 2 of the big 3? And if so, how do you think Bleach compares to their respective beginning arcs? That's a good question. That's a tough question. I've read and watched both One Piece and Naruto. So if we're talking beginning arcs, it's interesting to kind of determine what that means, isn't it? Because for me, I don't think of like, you know, the Buggy and then Kuro Black Cat arcs as like the arc, like the early arcs of. I think of those, they're kind of smaller, and I think of the East Blue kind of because of the size of One Piece. I think of the whole East Blue saga as like the early arcs of One Piece. So that includes like Arlong Park, which is phenomenal. Naruto, what are we saying is the early arcs? Are we saying it's like the land of, what was it, the land of waves with Zabuza? Like, is that the early arc to include the Chunin exams, because if we're talking like, Bleach's early arc is the Substitute arc and the Soul Society arcs. If we're comparing it to those, the things I've read, then I think, I feel like I'm making it more complicated. Yes, I've read them. I think Bleach has had a phenomenal early beginning to the story so far. If what we're saying, what I've read so far is the early part of Bleach, I think Bleach is right up there with those two. And I honestly enjoy Bleach more than Naruto. I like Naruto a lot, but I've been enjoying Bleach more than I enjoyed the early parts of Naruto, I would say. Hope that answers your question. I feel like I made that really complicated. If you were in the Bleach world and knew each character personally and had 5 open slots at a party, which 5 Bleach characters would you invite and why? Oh man. I like my parties to be fun, but also not too crazy where like stuff gets broken. So I have to keep that in mind. I would invite Urahara, Shunsui, for sure. Man. Rengiku maybe? Was that 3 characters? Urahara. And I'm gonna say Isshin. I feel like Isshin could be the life of the party. Plus, he's got some stories to tell, so if I can get him drunk and he can tell me his backstory, that would work out pretty well for me. So yeah, those are my 5. If you had the choice, would you be a Hollow, Quincy, or Soul Reaper? That's an interesting question. I think probably a Soul Reaper. I want a Zanpakuto. The Quincy are cool though. I don't know if I'd want to be a Hollow. I love them, but I don't know if I'd want to be one. It doesn't sound great. Any plans on doing the same type of videos in other mangas? Your style is super refreshing to watch without getting too technical and focusing on how the story is making you feel. Thank you, I appreciate that. I am someone that really focuses on the story, and I care deeply about storytelling and how it's affecting me, and I prefer talking about that than like the technical parts of it for sure. Like you wouldn't catch me talking about the placement of manga panels or anything like that. Like I'm really about the story. As far as your question about doing it for other manga, I haven't really thought about it much. Maybe. I'll say maybe. I mean, I don't know. For now, I'd say it's definitely on the table. I'm not going to say no. I could probably cover, but I think for now it's just going to be Bleach as far as these go. I might do little videos like I did for One Piece with Brooke about other manga, but they won't be like quite this, first time reading series. But down the road, maybe, potentially, yeah. If you've been watching the anime, what was your favorite moment that was animated? Okay, the moment everybody talks about, and that got like so many comments on my Aizen video. Yeah, the moment when he blocks Ichigo's sword with just his finger, and then in the anime it actually cancels out Ichigo's theme music, that was amazing. Like obviously, that's probably the moment I think of as far as differences between the manga and the anime. That's the moment in the anime that just added even more to the scene. Like I thought that was so clever and good. Got you hyped up with the typical music only to completely shut it down. That was great. So that moment. Do you have any theories on where the story of Bleach will go in the future, or what questions do you have from the series that you want to know the answers to so bad? I don't really have many theories on how it's gonna go. I don't like to really think that far ahead. I prefer that the author kind of guide me through the story. If I kind of start speculating too far ahead on how I think things are going to end, I risk, coming up with something that isn't remotely what's going to happen and then getting disappointed if it isn't what I thought it was. So I don't really like to do that with most stories. I like to kind of wait and see. I like to be on the ride, and just kind of let it unfold. What questions do I have that I want to see unfold so bad? I need Isshin's backstory. I need to know what his deal is. I mean, a lot of these people, I'd love to know more about their backstories and where they're coming from, which I'm sure we'll get, so that's very exciting. Which three characters are you most looking forward to seeing more from as you continue the series? Definitely Kenpachi. Give me all the Kenpachi always. Maori, I need to see even more how despicable this guy is and what other crazy experiments he has in mind. And Aizen. I want to see Aizen as the big bad. I want to see more about him. I want to learn his backstory. Where did this guy come from? You know, what's his issue? Why does he have this god complex? I want to see more of that. Why is The World's Not Enough better than Tomorrow Never Dies? Okay, for all of you who are like, what? I. The person asking this is a YouTuber, a movie reviewer, and also happens to be my cousin. And we constantly fight about James Bond. We are both James Bond fans. I am a huge fan of the series. I say Tomorrow Never Dies is a better Bond movie than The World Is Not Enough. They both star Pierce Brosnan, and we constantly fight about that. It has been a fight happening for years. So shout out to Alex Madden. Go check out his movie reviews. He's just blatantly wrong about this. Tomorrow Never Dies is better than The World's Not Enough, and it always will be. Who is your favorite human character from Ichigo's family and friends, excluding Orihime, Chad, and Uryu? Tatsuki. Tatsuki 100%. I think she's been an interesting character since early on. I think with the Tears in the Rain stuff, her being the one to kind of share the backstory of Ichigo's childhood loss, having been friends with him as children, knowing Ichigo very well, being able to see the change in him and know the exact moment, that he went from being one thing to being something else. Also, her kind of like growing spiritual aptitude is interesting. She's really caught on and been catching on to more and more. She's been seeing things. I think she's a good character, and I hope there's a lot more for her. I could see her really becoming part of the group later on. I also really like Karin for similar reasons. I like her relationship with Ichigo, and I like the potential that she has with her spiritual awareness. What are your three favorite things about your wife? Which characters do you think she is most like? Well, if you hadn't guessed, my wife responded to my post asking for questions. What are my three favorite things about her? Your humor, your kindness, your just absolute willingness to be as goofy and crazy as possible, and I respect that. Which characters are you most like? She doesn't read Bleach, so I could totally say like Maori or Aizen, and she wouldn't really know. But I'm gonna be honest. Probably Rengiku, I'd say. Yeah, either her or Rukia. One of the two of them, I would say you were most like. What character would you want to see a Bankai reveal for the most? Aizen? Aizen? If his, releasing his Zanpakuto can hypnotize people just from looking at it, I can't imagine what his Bankai can do. Can he, hypnotize the whole planet? Or will he summon some creation that it can cause people to do things? Can he take control of people's minds? I don't know. I feel like it's got to be something along those lines. I'm so curious to see what his Bankai is going to be. What do you think of the world building so far? I've been loving the world building of Bleach. I think it's been a huge ride because it's coming from a more grounded place than a lot of other manga. The real world feels like the real world. These human problems feel like human problems. And then we've slowly been kind of being brought more and more into the soul society of it all, the hollows, the pluses, the minuses. And it's helpful that, he's done such a good job, Kubo, of explaining these things as we go. And they just become part of the zeitgeist of the series. And it's felt like a natural growth from the beginning of the series to, the more crazy parts of the soul society and things like that. I think he's done an expert job at creating this world. And I love it a lot. And I love that it's anchored in something a bit more real, a bit more tangible. Top 3 One Piece arcs. That is a very tough question that is asking me to choose between my children, but I will do my best to answer. Yikes. Water 7, Enies Lobby is definitely in my top 3, and I know those are technically 2 separate arcs, but they're definitely one story. That's very much Frankie, Robin, and the Going Merry, And that is all one big story. It's two different locations, but that is one arc to me, and it is amazing. It is probably, I think, the One Piece arc where every single piece of it, every single thing works phenomenally well. I'm tempted to say Thriller Bark, even though I know that's a very unpopular choice, but Brook is my favorite Straw Hat. I love the gothic spooky vibes. I love how funny it is. And it's got that amazing ending with Zoro and Kuma, so maybe I'll say Thriller Bark. And then probably Marineford. I mean, that was just an accomplishment as far as storytelling, world building, bringing in all these characters from all these different things. And most of them weren't even like main characters or people we knew that well, but making us care so much because of what was at the core of that story. That was a phenomenal arc with a crazy ending. I remember reading that week when, you know, the big thing happened, and I was not okay. So yeah, probably Marineford, Water 7, Enies Lobby, and Thriller Bark. Why not? Also, Arlong Park is what really made me love One Piece, so that's probably 4, if not 3. I don't know. One Piece has so many amazing arcs, it's hard to choose, and that's just my answer today. My answer could be totally different tomorrow. All amazing arcs. Yeah, that's my answer. 1,000-Year Blood War reaction videos, is it a possibility? Cause saw your reaction to Ghostbusters trailer, you're pretty good at it. Well, thank you. I really struggled with that reaction, to be honest. I'm not super comfortable giving reactions live like that on camera, but yeah, the 1,000-Year Blood War, I know that there's the new anime that's covering like later parts of the manga. As far as will I be reacting to those episodes when I get to that point in the story, I don't think it'll be like a live reaction, you know. I think I'll probably just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll read a chunk of the story, and whatever speaks to me, I'll give my thoughts on. I don't think I'll do that, but I really appreciate the kind words, because that was really somewhat uncomfortable for me, so I wasn't sure if it was even worth it. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I'd be sticking to how I'm doing it so far through the end of the series. What sort of steps do you have to regularly take to avoid spoilers, or just generally avoid seeing Bleach-related stuff? Mainly, I don't look up anything Bleach-related, because I really want to just go through my experience of the story as fresh as possible. If I do see any sort of thumbnail that looks like it's from Bleach, I avert my eyes immediately, which is, you know, with me uploading videos, I'm sure that they come up, you know, in related videos and stuff. But I honestly don't watch much like YouTube on my own as far as like being in a situation where I could see thumbnails. It's pretty rare. So yeah, I just mainly have just been doing my best to not see anything, and it's been not that difficult actually, surprisingly enough, and I have been thankful for that. Loved your Ghostbusters video. Well, thank you. Will you be doing more of that in the future? I would love to talk about more Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, as you saw in my video, is one of my favorite things, and I love talking about it. And with the new movie coming out early next year, I'll be at least talking about that movie for sure, and I'd love to talk even, you know, other Ghostbusters topics as well. Yeah, I'm a big movie guy, as well as I'm mainly a big movie guy, so I love talking about movies, so I probably will most definitely be talking more Ghostbusters. What did you think of the final encroachment? It really scared me the first time reading the manga. Yeah, those tongues and mouths coming out of that chain, like eating away at itself toward a person, that was really, yeah, it was really scary. It was one of the things I like about Bleach, which is the supernatural horror elements. I'd actually like for there to even be more of that. It's kind of why I love the Hollows so much. I love the scary parts of Bleach. I love the horror elements that they throw in sometimes, and the encroachment was really disturbing, and in a visual standpoint, super memorable. Like, I read that chapter over a year ago, when I was I first started, and then life got crazy and I had to take a break from Bleach, but that still sticks with me so much, for sure, absolutely. It was terrifying. What do you like about Bleach compared to other manga or anime? I love the character designs. I think Kubo's characters are some of the sleekest, some of the coolest looking characters that I've ever read in a manga. I think he's got great character designs. I love the mix of kind of like the realistic modern world, or modern as far as when this was written, mixed in with, the look of the Soul Society, the kind of feudal Japan, Soul Reaper look. I think it works really well. I think Bleach itself is just so cool. It's got an aesthetic that a lot of other manga doesn't have. It's just sleek and cool, and it's hard for me to use other words to describe it, but I like the look of Bleach. I love how it looks. I think it's super appealing, and everyone looks great. And all the swords and weapons and Bankai, everything is amazing. And I'm a sucker, like I said, for like supernatural stories, and this has that as well. So I don't know, it's great. And I think that's where its strengths are. I think its character designs for sure is a huge strength. Who do you think is going to be the best character by the end of the series? Just a guess. My guess is Kenpachi, because he's already the best. He will always be the best. I think he is going to always be badass, and I hope we learn more about him. I think he's always going to be cool. I think I'm always going to love him. And yeah, that's more of a personal favorite. As far as best fleshed out, I hope Ichigo. I mean, I hope he keeps going through things that make him stronger and stronger. Both physically, emotionally, mentally. I want Ichigo to be the best character by the end of the series. Alright guys, so that about covers it for this Q&A. I really appreciate it. I thank you so much for watching all these videos, and for the kind words and the support and the critiques, everything, and for subscribing. It really means so much to me to have other people share the same interests and are willing to take the time to watch and listen to my content. I think that's amazing. And maybe we'll do another one of these Q&As if I reach like 5,000 subscribers or down the road somewhere, and that would be amazing. And by that point, I'll be further in the story, so you can ask me questions pertaining to stuff later on that I can get into. So yeah, thank you so much again for watching. If your question didn't get answered, I'm sorry, I must have missed it. I'll do a check, before I upload this to make sure I got all the questions. But yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. I got more Bleach content coming along with other stuff as well. Take care.